the men's under-20 race. And of course, top of the pile, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, two-time defending champion here, two-time champion, unbelievably the youngest ever European Athletics Championship winner when he took the 1500 meters and then the 5000 meters title in Berlin this year. But there are some extremely good athletes in this race as well. Former European under-18 champion Elzan Bibic of Serbia. Serbia has had some success in the men's under-20 races in the past at the Spa European Cross Country Championships. Lucas Maas, Tilburg athlete, he said yesterday's press conference, probably about 20 to 25 close family and friends around the course. Well, I wonder how motivated the Dutch under-20 men are going to be after seeing their compatriots take silver in the women's race. Tim van der Velde, very good steeplechaser, also useful on the country. Jake Hayward. Mark, say a little bit about this man. You know him very well.
Yes, I was speaking to him and his coach James Thie earlier on this weekend. But there's the man to beat, I think.
Yes. I just wonder what's going through the rest of the athlete's mind, knowing that this man is actually the senior European 1500 metres and 5000 metres champion. And of course, very much a family affair in the Norwegian team. His two brothers, Philip and Henrik, both European champions themselves on the track, coming up later in the senior men's race at the end of the day.
On your marks.
Well, 96 athletes from 29 countries. And once again, a very fast start. I think the coaches have actually had a look at this course and told them that it does funnel very quickly. And if you're not well placed, you're going to have to work hard to be able to get up amongst the leaders if you've got aspirations of finishing in the top 10 to 15. While it unravels, Mark, some of your other favourites, some of the other men to watch?
Well, you mentioned Ingebrigtsen and also Jake Hayward and Bilic. They are the three principals. But as always in this race, as you made a point earlier, there are people who could bring a surprise, as Kalkin did in the previous race.
Leading the way at the moment, Usman Umaz from Spain. Second in the Spanish Junior 1500 metres this summer. Van der Velde out on the left-hand side of the course, closest to the lake. And Ingebrigtsen also up there. Jake Hayward tracking him. Ingebrigtsen finished second of the World Under-20 1500 metres champion before going on to be the European senior. But Hayward not that far away, fourth if I remember rightly.
That's right, and then he went on to run a very, very fast time at the end of the season, 3:36, just outside the very long-standing British junior record. And really, in previous years, somebody like him or Bibic would be a clear favourite to win this race. But this is a special athlete ahead of them.
Simen Haugen of Norway also up there. Third generation of very, very talented runners.
That's right. I met his mother yesterday. She was a competitor at the European Cross Country Championships and the World Cross Country Championships, a former rival of Paula Radcliffe. And then her father was an Olympic finalist in the 5,000 metres in 1972. That classic race with Steve Prefontaine and Viren.
And also, not to ignore him, Dara McElhenney, also up there from the green vest of Ireland, just out of shot at the moment, just drifted back a couple of places as Bibic of Serbia takes over in front. So let's see the camera pan back. It's Serbia, Norway and Spain up the front at the moment in this race.
And it has to be said that Norway have very strong team gold ambitions in this race. And interestingly, Phil, it was this corresponding race 10 years ago that we first saw an Ingebrigtsen, Henrik Ingebrigtsen, competed in the junior race 10 years ago. And Norway won a silver then.
So the under-20 men run the shorter 1 kilometre lap to start with before embarking on 3 long laps. Let's see some of the other leading names. Just to pick out Mohammed of Germany there, a little bit further back, but the German junior champion. Umai's finished third recently at the very, very strong Atapuerca IAAF permit meeting in the under-20 race. But that attracts athletes from all over Europe, one of the leading cross-country races on the international calendar, certainly the first half of the international calendar. Looks like France are also packing well at the moment. And I can see 2 Britons and 2 Norwegians up there in the leading group. 3 to score, just as a reminder. And just as I say that, it's see France actually provisionally in the lead at the moment in the team standings, but long way to go at this stage. Tom Mortimer up there.
Also in the front, it's British 5,000 meter junior 2018, Tom Mortimer.
Mortimer finished third in the Liverpool cross-country race last month, de facto British trials race, and a very, very high-quality race that was too.
Ja, ik zie ze in de vecht aankomen met het team van de Velden die daar nog in de weg probeert de tijd aan te slaan. Team van de Velden. En daar krijgen we een aanleiding. Elzal Bibis.
The race just unraveling as we go through the woods. Still Umai's running well, just slowed down a little bit as they work their way around a couple of very tight turns out here in the woods.
Yes, this is the first of this is the second short lap. The next time round they'll have a longer lap and there'll be more of this sort of terrain.
France have been the power in this particular category over recent years, winning the team title on 4 of the last 6 occasions. Although it was Spain last year who took the plaudits. Great Britain last winning in 2011. So earlier in the programme there's the very wide expanse of sand on top of Earth that Mark was talking about. So we have Serbia, Spain, Norway, followed by 2 Britons. At a distance, I think you'll agree, it's a little bit difficult to tell between the vests of Great Britain and Norway. Very, very similar blue on white ensembles. But hopefully pick out the right people at the right time. Haugen up there. Haugen also very, very good runner on the roads. Recently finished 4th in a very high quality 10K on home soil, the whole 10K. Attracts a lot of the top runners from across Scandinavia. The Nordic junior 5,000 meter champion. Ooh, another faller. Well, a lot of people are having problems keeping their footing on this surface. We saw Sarah Healy go down earlier. Be very interested to see how much she felt that had affected her. This is a very different course to the way things have gone in recent years. We had very dry, very cold and very windy course in Slovakia, and then that came after 2 years on the Mediterranean in Sardinia, in Kia, and then before that on Hyères in France, which were very dry, very fast courses. I mean, we were debating, weren't we? I mean, you've been to every single Spa European Cross Country Championships, just seeing there Great Britain, Northern Ireland currently in the lead. This is the muddiest since when?
Well, I wouldn't say it was muddy, but it's certainly obviously treacherous. I don't think I've seen as many falls already as we've seen today. There's been more mud on other occasions, I think. But there's all sorts of surfaces here.
So Elzan Bizic, the tall, rangy Serbian, leading the way at the moment, being tracked by the much shorter Spaniard, Umais. Bibic recently won the Balkan under-20 title, so he's in good form. Some good runners from across the Balkans here. Adrian Garcia, one of the top 10 from last year, is somewhere further down the field, the young Romanian. He was second to Bibic in that Balkan race. Umai still looking very comfortable. So to Bibic and all the men immediately behind him. So a group of 7. Mohamed has worked his way up there, the German.
And we have the next round. We can see the competitors. It's still in the lead.
Mohamed had a couple of good runs in Germany already this year. Went to the World Under-20 Championships where he was 13th in the 5,000 metres. Has come on.
Because it's for athletics and there are a lot of events in life.
Usim Umais leading the way with Bibic. So the pair alongside each other, 3,500 metres, just over halfway into the race. Somewhat contrasting statures. Umais took the Spanish under-20 cross-country title, the championships being held earlier this year, back in February.
And Phil, you mentioned the Balkan cross-country championships. There was also the Nordic cross-country championships in recent weeks, and I think we see the results of the positioning of those events in that they are providing more increasingly contenders in this race.
And they are jumping over the 3 trucks. Still in the lead, we have 3 athletes at this moment. We have from Serbia, Elzan Bibic. We have from
So
Spain,
Britain leading the way at the moment in the team standings, just ahead of France and Norway. Well, the pace has eased off a little bit. Umais. Well, I haven't seen that too often, with Umais and Ingebrigtsen actually chatting briefly. Well, I think Umais was pleading with Ingebrigtsen to take the lead, and Ingebrigtsen just saw it as a friendly gesture. But gesture was well received by both men, and now it's back on with the racing, I think.
Didn't we see something like that with the Ingebrigtsens on the track in Berlin as well, between the two brothers?
Yeah, might well have done, yes, but here you're dealing with people from the opposite ends, north and south of Europe. Well, Umais now starting to push the pace a little bit more. Ingebrigtsen, well, we've seen him so often just hang back and then just go through the gears, use his speed. But he does just seem to be blowing slightly harder than we've seen him in a few of his races. I don't know whether that's a false impression. I'm going to be proven completely wrong in a kilometre or so's time. But at this stage, it's Usim Umais taking the lead, the reigning Spanish under-20 champion, coached by Antonio Serrano, who was a medalist, a bronze medalist at the very first Spa European Cross Country Championships back in 1994. Hoping for some cheers. I think his teammates are out on the course. And he looks very relaxed, doesn't he, Umais?
He does, and to do something like that in mid-race, well, if you're good, you can get away with that. Is he good?
I hope it doesn't come back to haunt him. Not seeing anything like that from the likes of Bibic or Hayward, or the men behind him. Kodad, the Frenchman, has come through. He's now at the very back of that leading group. It has come from quite a long way back to get up in contact with the leaders. Similar race to the way Schlabas came from a long way back, having not really featured during the first half of the women's race. But here's the leading trio. Umais of Spain, Ingebrigtsen of Norway, and Bibic of Serbia. Three of the men who we did pick out as the ones to watch. So there you hear the bell. Well, that was a quick lap, 14:10.
Yes, that was 6 seconds quicker than the previous lap.
Well, despite him looking relaxed, Umais has been cranking it up steadily. So now a bit of a gap between the leading three, with 1,500 metres to run, and Jake Hayward in fourth at the moment, and Mohammed of Germany. They're occupying fourth and fifth places. Well, Hayward in fourth, it's Hagen in fifth, and Mohammed in sixth. I have to say, I do admire the nonchalance and the arrogance of Umais. I don't think he can afford to be quite so relaxed with Jakob Ingebrigtsen on his shoulder, making a slight meal of getting over one of those logs. Those three logs together, which have already claimed a couple of victims. Bibic now starting to just tire a little bit. Germany now have moved up. Obviously, some of their runners further down the field have improved their positions. Germany in second place behind Great Britain and Northern Ireland now. You have to wonder at what point Jakob Ingebrigtsen is going to make his move. He's let Umais and Bibic make all the running so far in this race.
He drifted through on the inside then without hardly any effort. And suddenly,
Umais is having to grit his teeth. What did you say? It's just so effortless. If he does take the gold medal, it's starting to look as though he might. He'd be the first person ever to win 3 successive men's under-20 titles. Steph Twell did it in the women's race a few years back, but no man has ever done it. And now suddenly a very large gap in just a very short space of distance has opened up between Jakob Ingebrigtsen and Usim Umais. Spaniard now. Well, he's still looking very relaxed, but the two men are operating at very different speeds. So just over 100 metres now to the line. And Ingebrigtsen just makes it look so easy, looking as though he's barely broken sweat. Takes congratulations of one of the crowd there. He's looking for the applause as he comes into the home straight. About 30 meters to go before he crosses the line. Jakob Ingebrigtsen gets his hat-trick of gold medals. Ingebrigtsen of Norway takes the gold yet again for the third year running. And he becomes a mud angel. Uasim Umais of Spain takes the silver, followed by Elzan Bibic. Jake Hayward, a great 1500-meter runner. Didn't quite have the stamina this time. Simon Haugen in 5th. So 2 Norwegians in the first 5. Mohammed 6th. Mohammed Amin Kodad coming through over the last couple of kilometres to place well in 7th. Quite a big gap now to the rest of the field starting to come home. This is one of the Turkish runners. Another German. Now they're starting to flood in. Well, subject to confirmation with 3 men in the top 14. I think it's Great Britain and Northern Ireland that take the team title. Well, could be close though. Just seen one of the Norwegians come through. Let's just wait and see how it unfolds. Mark, you were watching the 3rd Norwegian.
Well, you were right when you said Britain were ahead then, because when 14 had finished, Britain were the first with 3. But then Haugen finished, Stavik was the 3rd scorer for Norway in 22nd place, combined with the 1st place of Ingebrigtsen and the 5th place of Haugen, gives them a better score by 2 points than Britain.
So just seeing the highlights of the final part of the race, just confirming that Jakob Ingebrigtsen adds to his very, very extensive gold medal haul from European events. And that'll be a celebration that's been replayed all over Norway during the course of the rest of the day. I'm sure he'll be on the front pages of Norwegian newspapers as well. He's quite a hero in Norway.
It's the 2nd successive European Championships that he's come away with 2 gold medals.
Well, Jakob Ingebrigtsen just made it look so easy. The rest of the runners, it's taken the toll on them a little bit. 18 minutes exactly for the 6.3 kilometre course. Outstanding run from this young man who, well, he was the joint rising star for 2018 in the Golden Tracks Awards recently. There's confirmation of the leading standings. Indeed, Ingebrigtsen winning by 9 seconds from Umais of Spain. Bibic just drifting a little bit back over the final 500-600 metres, finishing 3rd. Jake Hayward, just too much ground to make up when the leading trio started to make the break. Haugen, well, we think that 5th place is crucial in Norway taking team title. Have Norway ever won a team title before?
I don't think so. I don't think they've won too many titles without Ingebrigtsen being involved.
No. Well, a bit later on in the day, we have Caroline Björkli-Grovdal. Björkli-Grovdal was a winner of the junior race, I think, a few years ago. Has won the last 3 bronze medals in the senior ranks.
Team results in 1st place, Team Norway, 28 points. In 2nd place,
38 countries represented here in Tilburg, as we now get ready for the final individual event of this afternoon. Still the new innovative mixed relay to come. Senior men's championships, there you can see at the top of the list, Kaan Keegan Osbilan, defending champion, former champions Aras Kaya and Polat Kemboy Arakan, also in this field today for a very strong Turkish team. The very good Frenchman who finished 4th last year, Hassan Chadeh, leads the French. The longest race of the day, 6 long laps and 1 final lap. Brings us up to a total of 10.3 kilometres. we're hoping you're enjoying this European Athletics live stream here from Tilburg and the Spa European Cross Country Championships. It's brought to you with the assistance of Spa, La Gruyere and Eurovision European Athletics International Partners. So 89 competitors from no less than 27 countries will take part in the senior men's race. Well, we saw Yasmin Chan defend her title. Wonder whether it'll be the turn of Kaan Keegan Özbilan to follow in her footsteps. It was a bit of a surprise last year. We were looking at other members of the Turkish team, like previous winners such as Polat Kemboy Arakan and Aras Kaya. It was Özbilan who came through. It's the very good Norwegian team. Looks as though Henrik Ingebrigtsen has been waxing his moustache. There's Filip Ingebrigtsen, both Henrik and Filip Ingebrigtsen, both former European 1500-meter champions on the track. There's Robin Hendricks, finished in the top 10 of the under-23 race last year. Former under-23 champion Isaac Kimeli, who's been in fine form this winter. At the front of the Italian team, Yamani Bahan Kripa and Daniel Maiucci. Maiucci, former European marathon champion. Kripa, two-time under-20 winner. Michel Buta and Khalid Chakoud, the two men at the front of the pen for the Netherlands. Michel Buta finished in the top 10 in the past, finished 9th back in 2008, ran back here in 2005. Khalid Chakoud, for a number of years, the best Dutch cross-country runner. Very strong Spanish team. Let's see Adel Machal, second last year. And he's been running extremely well on the country as well this year. But these are probably the favourites. Arakan, Kaya and Özbilan. All three men individual gold medalists at the Spa European Cross Country Championships in the past, including this man, the defending champion. So 30 minutes or so of running ahead of us. This is just fractionally longer than last year's race. Last year's race just a touch over 10 kilometers, so 180 meters longer than last year's race. Turkey also took the team title 12 months ago, followed home by Spain and Great Britain, Northern Ireland. Very congested around the first bend there. You can see the two Ingebrigtsens going through your screen. Well, the course is now starting to cut up and get very muddy. We've had 5 races already on this circuit. Jiri Homolak of the Czech Republic, better known as a road runner.
On the big screen you can see the start list in the senior men's race of the European Cross Championships. Number 2
There's Isaac Kimeli, Mark Scott as well. Mark Scott representing Europe at the IAAF Continental Cup in September, over 5,000 meters. Now Adel Machal.
I spoke to Adel Machal yesterday, and he confirmed that he hasn't left the 1,500 meters. That's still his target event. He wants to see how good he can be at it. But this year was a bit of a break for him. He did the 10,000 meters instead at the European Championships.
Yes, finished 4th, didn't he? He was, he's got quite a range as Machal, going from being a medalist at the European Indoors at 3,000, up to just missing out on a medal at 10,000 and getting a silver here 12 months ago. He was quite optimistic about this. Speaking to him at yesterday's press conference, he was saying, well, it's not quite as muddy as he feared it might be, and he doesn't mind the mud, in contrast to many runners from Spain or Italy who prefer much harder surfaces, the much more traditional, harder parkland surfaces, which predominate in the cross-country races in those countries. And he's showing that here. He's to the front, followed by Aras Kaya and Polak Kemboy Arakan. Arakan, a two-time former European 10,000 metre champion. Also up there, Napoleon Solomon in 4th place. Solomon, the former Nordic cross-country champion, the Swede.
And if you remember last year, Phil, this race was quite similar to the race we've just seen in the women, where it was Michel versus Osbelen.
Indeed, there's a second Swede up there in 4th place.
The third Turkish runner there had a bit of a difficult ascent. That was the defending champion, Osbelen.
So Abrama, the oldest man in this field, indeed the oldest man in these championships, at 41 years of age, currently in 4th place, defying Father Time very slightly. So at the moment it's Michal, Kaya and Abrama. Also up there in the well-known yellow vests of Sweden is Robel Fischer. It's in 5th place at the moment as Abrama takes the lead. So 1 lap completed. Still Adel Michel at the front, the Spaniard. And Yamani Bahan Kripa has moved through, get himself up to 5th place at the moment. Yamani Bahan Kripa, well, he finished 3rd in last year's under-23 race, would have still been eligible to run in that race, but he's had a good winter, won the Italian senior title, and decided, even though he's only 22 years of age, to throw in his lot with the seniors. Some familiar names there. Very good German runner, Florian Orth in the 20s. Nakanget Kripa, former world junior mountain running champion and the older brother of Yamani Bahan Kripa. He's in the 20s as well. There's probably Britain's #1 cross-country runner this year, winner of the Liverpool race, Ross Millington in the top 10. Everybody looking very relaxed at this stage. Nick Gulab also up there. As we pan back down the field, there's Osbelan, the defending champion, now back on his feet, but long way back. Well, he's made up ground very sharply, but still down in about 10th place at the moment. So Nick Gulab, one of 2 Britons in the top 15. There's Filip Ingebrigtsen, probably in around 10th place at the moment, the former European 1500 metres champion, and brother, of course, of the astonishingly talented Jakob Ingebrigtsen, who won earlier today the men's under-20 title. Well, struggling to negotiate that corner, that becoming tricky. Hassan Chadi has moved up well in the last kilometre. Fisker, who showed earlier, Still up there, still battling. 3 Swedes in about the top 12, 13 places. But it's former champion Polat Kemboy Arakan alongside Hassan Chadi. Chadi, a under 20 and under 23 champion himself. And Filip Ingebrigtsen just tagged on nicely onto the back of that leading group. Osbilan in the second group at the moment, the defending champion. Just wondering whether he was shaken up a little bit. There's Michel Buta, popular local figure. Now has his attention on the marathon. He's improved to being 4th on the Dutch all-time list. So 9 people in that leading group, with Filip Ingebrigtsen at the rear, the very tall Norwegian. Then a little bit of daylight. But still not very much in it between the first 20, 25 runners. So we're coming up to complete about 3 kilometers into this race. Running at just over about 3 minutes a kilometre.
And the first 2 laps have been covered in exactly the same time, 4:14.
I have to say, looking at the defending champion, Kaan Keegan Osbilan, he doesn't look at all comfortable there following that fall. Howie Griffiths, 2:09 marathon runner, completing the top 10. Griffiths, of course, was up with the leaders last year before he tore a hamstring and had to withdraw from the race. Khaled Chakoud, well, a bit further back than perhaps he would have liked, in 25th position. Daniel Mateo in 36th. Well, he was in the top 10 last year. Gonna have to move up quickly and move up and make some improvements if he's to emulate that achievement. But it's Arakan and Kaya from Turkey amongst the leaders, with now Filip Ingebrigtsen at the front. Just under a third of the way into the race, it's Turkey leading the team standings. Not complete surprise. It's Ingebrigtsen leading the individual race at the moment. I wonder how much of the race of his brothers he managed to see. Aras Kaya on the shoulder of Ingebrigtsen at the moment as they negotiate that very tight turn. Adel Machal, Polat Kemboy Arakan. Napoleon Solomon, the former Nordic champion from last year, has moved up very well. Aras Kaya, the 2016 European cross-country champion. Arakan winning his title 2 years prior to that in 2014. But it's Filip Ingebrigtsen at the moment, really dictating the pace.
And Filip Ingebrigtsen is the only one of his 3 brothers that hasn't won an individual gold medal at these championships.
I don't think he's competed in them that often in the past, unlike his brothers. Might have had 1 or 2 appearances in the past, but Henrik and Jakob have been fairly regular faces at these championships. Henrik Ingebrigtsen, just as we mentioned him, struggling a little bit, down in about 20th position with that Hercule Poirot moustache. So we're about 4K into this race now, and it's Filip Ingebrigtsen leading the way. Aras Kaya, 2016 European champion, followed by Adel Machal, last year's silver medalist. That's the 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Well, that was a 4:11 lap. So Isaac Kimeli, under 23 champion from a couple of years ago. Up there now at the sharp end of the senior race. So hugely talented leading group there with a myriad of gold medals between them in various categories. But it's still Filip Ingebrigtsen looking very comfortable at the front. Fernando Caro down then 42nd place there. Well, he was the 3,000 meter steeplechase silver medalist in Berlin. Not going to get amongst the individual medals here, I think. Spain still, though, very much in contention for perhaps a team medal. There's Aras Kaya now moving to the 4. Well, Turkey leading by quite a large margin, 16 points from Great Britain, followed by Belgium in 3rd place at the moment. Just under halfway into this race. Well, Osbalanu's made progress after his earlier slip, almost went down for a second time there.
But you can see he's being quite careful at in the turns, perhaps losing a lot of distance, but making sure he doesn't lose his footing.
Yeah. Yes. And it's obviously a somewhat nerving experience going down in these sort of conditions. He's got back up there. He seemed to dart forward and then just relaxed a little bit, realising that there was still plenty of the race still to be run. So it's Aras Kaya, the 2016 champion, at the front at the moment. Aras Kaya finished 7th 12 months ago in Samarin. Filip Ingebrigtsen in 2nd place. Ingebrigtsen, the 2016 European 1500 meter champion, and took bronze at the Worlds last year in 2:17. Somewhat unfortunate to injure his ankle in the semi-finals of the European 1500 meters in Berlin as he was attempting a defense of his title. Kimeli, well, Kimeli losing his footing a bit there, didn't go down, but just shows you this is a very, very difficult course indeed. Well, next year in 2019 we go to the Portuguese capital, Lisbon. Fairly sure it's going to be a bit drier there. Possibly a bit harder underfoot. Just look at that, those conditions now. Quagmire of sand and earth, sodden with days of rain. Very, very heavy going now. They're in all sorts of trouble going around that bend. So we've got a leading group of 8 with Yamani Bahan Kripa just starting to lose a little bit of contact with the leading pack there. still leading. It's Filip Ingebrigtsen trying to follow in the footsteps of his younger brother Jakob. Well, Filip Ingebrigtsen's got 2 previous appearances at these championships. He was 45th as a under-20 athlete back in 2012. 19th as an under-23 athlete back in 2015. At the moment, it's Turkey 1 and 2 as Ingebrigtsen slips, both metaphorically and literally, back to the rear of that leading group of 5. So Özbilan now back in contention with the leaders. It's Kaya and Özbilan, winners for the last 2 years. Adel Machal of Spain, silver medalist 12 months ago. 2016 under-23 champion Isaac Kimeli, the Belgian, in 4th. And Filip Ingebrigtsen in 5th. Napoleon Solomon of Sweden in 6th. Yamani Bahan Kripper of Italy in 7th. That's the leaders. About 11 minutes of running still to go. 2014 champion Arakan in 8th place at the moment. So Turkey very convincingly in the lead in the team competition. Well, Kimeli hanging on to the 2 Turkish runners, with Özbilan now putting up a valiant defence of his title. Very slight gap appearing between the leading 3 and then Adel Machal and Filip Ingebrigtsen. But both Machal and Ingebrigtsen, 2 men that we know have got very good finishing speed. And we've already seen in a couple of races today athletes coming from a long way back on the final lap as well to get medals. Still Kaan Keegan Özbilan at the front. And Aras Kaya, his Turkish teammate, in 2nd place at the moment. Well, it's concertina together again. Filip Ingebrigtsen has got up with the leaders. Adel Machal hasn't let them go either, although Machal does look as though he's starting just to look a little bit tired. Ingebrigtsen, though, still looking very, very calm and confident.
I think Kimeli is a bit of a surprise package here because he won the under-23 title 2 years ago. It's bided his time. He didn't do the senior race last year, but we saw him running a 1-kilometre relay in Edinburgh at the beginning of the year. Belgium didn't have a relay team at this event last year.
I think one indication that he's in good shape was that he won the Rousselard cross-country, which is a very high-quality race in Belgium last month against quite a good international field. So he knew he was fit from that. Well, Machal, last year's silver medalist, now starting to get dropped. So it's Özbilan, Kimeli, Ingebrigtsen and Kaya. They're the 4 at the front. Özbilan at the back, the defending champion. So it's Kaya's turn to go to the front and direct proceedings. Kimeli doing a very good job of hanging on to Kaya. Ingebrigtsen Well, he was in good shape going into Berlin before he had that minor ankle injury, and he's clearly recovered quite quickly from that and had a very good winter. In very good shape, Filip Ingebrigtsen. Of course, morale running very high in the Norwegian team as well. They've picked up medals, not just thanks to Jakob Ingebrigtsen, but they've got team titles, and they've also seen Caroline Björkli-Grovdal win her 4th successive bronze medal in the senior women's race just a short while ago. Osbiland starting to blow a little bit. Still within striking distance, but he's starting to look tired now. Further back, Michal, very tired indeed. I think Michal's hopes of an individual medal starting to evaporate. Well, yeah, Solomon, if we're just seeing him on the shot, Solomon did look a little bit more relaxed, and now I think Solomon's trying to close the gap on Osbiland. Romani Bahan Kripa still hanging on in there. In 7th place at the moment. The former under-20 champion.
Who won this race when it was the open race earlier last month, the Warren Loop.
Yeah, slightly different conditions then, so I'm told. It was much drier. And indeed, Kripa won it 2 minutes quicker than the 2017 winner. Well, about 2 kilometers to go now. Filip Ingebrigtsen still looking very relaxed. Aras Kaya just behind him. Isaac Kimeli tiring, I think, but still hanging on in there. It's Khan Keegan Osbiland, the defending champion.
And I think all these 4 men have very good finishing kicks. I've seen them all win races with fast finishes before.
Yes, if the finish was just around the corner and let's say 200 meters away, I'd probably favour Ingebrigtsen, but who knows what another 2 kilometers of running is going to do to his legs. But it's still Ingebrigtsen leading the way. Well, Kimeli, we've known he's an outstanding athlete. That was shown when he won the European Under-23 cross-country title 2 years ago. Now really making an impact in the senior ranks. As we hear the bell for 1 lap to go, 1,300 meters of running. So there's the leading quartet. Aras Kaya of Turkey just edging into the lead now on his shoulder. Norway's Filip Ingebrigtsen just behind them. Isaac Kimeli of Belgium just starting to lose contact a little bit with the leading trio. It's Khan Keegan Osbiland. All 4 men in one form or another having won European titles in the past. But it's Kaya now pushing the pace. 2016 champion. Finished back in 7th last year. He's making a really good bid to try and regain his title. Osbiland, well, starting to get a second wind. He looked as though he was tiring, but at the moment, well, just as I say that, he slips back again. He's running out wide by the lake. But it's the 3 main protagonists are Kaya, Ingebrigtsen and Kimeli.
And in the team, I think Turkey are away and clear, and Britain, Italy and Spain are vying for the other medals.
It's still Kaya now. Less than a kilometre running to go. Confirmation of what Mark was saying Turkey very clearly in the lead, followed by Great Britain, Northern Ireland and Italy. We've still got one lap of running. As far as the team standings are concerned, a lot can change. Turkey at this stage looking as though they're well on the way to retaining their team title. Well, Özbilan starting to look quite tired. Kimeli and Kaya just getting slightly tangled up there around that corner, nothing too dramatic. But Filip Ingebrigtsen having an outstanding run. Starting to lap a few of the back markers now.
Well, he may not have watched his brother win, but you can be sure that he would have conferred with Jakob, so he would have had a really good insight as to what to look out for on the course, and that surely is a help.
Well, this is Ingebrigtsen's first cross-country race of the winter, as far as I'm aware. I mean, he's run on the roads, had a good run in that 10K race I mentioned in Hull. Finished second. Well, it's looking as though Turkey are out of it after winning 4 different individuals in the last 4 years. This looks as though it's a battle between Norway and Belgium. Well, now that 1500 meter speed coming to the fore. Filip Ingebrigtsen, 2016 European 1500 meter champion, 2018 European cross-country champion. Norway take gold, Belgium takes silver, Isaac Kimeli, and Aris Kaya is the bronze medalist from Turkey. Defending champion Kaan Keegan Özbilan just out of the medals in 4th place. Good run from Sweden's Napoleon Solomon, the former Nordic champion, coming through for 5th. Yamani Bahan Kripa in 6th for Italy. Turkey almost certainly take the team title. Polat Kemboy Arakan, 2014 European cross-country champion, coming through for 7th place. Mark Scott and Sean Tobin of Britain and Northern Ireland complete the top 10. Good runs from both men. Well, looking at this, the Spaniards have moved up very well on the last lap. Both Abadia and Mateo have come through very strongly over that final 1.3 kilometre lap. Hassan Chadi, we're looking at him to do well, but finished down in 25th place. Ross Millington, Britain's number 1, down towards about 29th place there. Well, I can't think of another occasion when 2 brothers have won individual European titles on the same day. That's one for the statisticians. What a magnificent finish, though, from Filip Ingebrigtsen. And quite rightly. Kisses his biceps. I think demonstration of his strength. What a family. Isaac Kimeli, can't take anything away from the young Belgian. Really battled all the way through to the finish. But the superior sprint speed of a former European 1500 meter champion just carries him home to another gold medal